guys, welcome back to another video. I'm LJ, if you're new to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I like to match my foundation when I'm shopping for foundations online. I found that my most recent, I think like 3 or 4 foundations, I've actually gotten a perfect match. I know a lot of people in the comment section have told me before that they have like a hard time finding their foundations online, because when I'm reviewing a foundation, I'm always saying that I bought it online. And some people are wondering like, how do you find your foundation online? And I know that's something I've been struggling with for a long time. It's definitely something that I feel like a lot of people struggle with, because like, how do you know what shade is going to work for you? So I'm going to be showing you guys how I like to match my foundation online. So if you're interested, then keep on watching. But if you've not joined the LJ family, go ahead and subscribe and also hit the bell so you're always notified of a new upload. Also thumbs up this video at the end if you like it. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
LJ, welcome to a channel where it's poppin'. Welcome to a YouTube.
Alright, so first things first, when it comes to matching your foundation online, I don't use the Sephora shade match, okay? It has messed me up so many times, you guys have no idea, to the point where sometimes it's very like off, where it's like it's not even helpful anymore. That's just one thing I don't use. I feel like it doesn't really like match it. If I put like a Fenty Beauty foundation and then I want to buy like a Too Faced foundation, it's gonna give me like the wrong undertone, it's gonna give me the wrong skin tone, and sometimes it's always like good, it works, but most of the time it does not work for me. So I've actually stopped using that. I don't use that anymore. So first things first, when I like to match my foundation online, I like to focus on my skin color. So of course your skin color is important. It's important for you to know like what category your skin color falls in. So typically with like foundations that range from like 35 to 45 shades, they're usually 4 different categories. So you have light, and then you have medium, and then you have medium deep, and then you have deep. Now some other foundations can actually have even more categories. I've seen some that go from fair to light, and then to light medium, and then medium, and then, you know, just a whole bunch of different categories. For me, I'm always like the second to the last category. So if they have 35 to 45 shades, I'm usually a medium deep. Sometimes they call it deep, and then the next category down is dark. So I'm always like that second to the last category when it comes to the skin tone. So it's very important for you to know which category like your skin tone falls in, which I feel like it's very easy to determine, because you can look at like your other foundations, even if it's not like perfect, you can see like where the category of that foundation falls in, and you can determine your skin tone from that category. The second most important thing is your undertone. For me, when I first started like matching foundations and figuring out like my undertone, it was so hard for me to figure it out, because every time I would go to Sephora and I would get somebody to match it on my skin, they always gave me the wrong undertone. So for a long time, I've been thinking I was a neutral undertone for a long time, and every time I get a foundation, it never matches me perfectly, and I'm like, why? They don't have my shade. They do have my shade, I'm just in the wrong category of the undertone. So typically with undertones, there are usually 3 different categories. The first category is cool undertone, and then the second category is neutral, and then the third is warm. So those are the only 3 categories that foundations would usually have. A way for you to determine that is looking at your wrist. Now, when I first heard that people look at their wrist to determine it, I'm pretty dark, so like my wrist, my veins barely show. But if you really look deep into your wrist and determine the color of your wrist, it is the easiest way for you to determine your undertone. So for me, my veins are green. You guys can see like it appears green if I stretch it out like this. I don't see any other color. I do see a little bit of olive. For warm undertones, your wrist is going to appear green / olive. If you look at your wrist and your wrist shows that it's blue / purple, it looks like a little bit on the bluish side, then you are of a cool undertone. If your wrist is like blue and green at the same time, you can't really determine. You might be of a neutral undertone, but you might not be of a neutral undertone. Maybe you just thinking that you're seeing blue, but really you're seeing green, because I used to also have that problem. That is one way to determine your undertone, is also looking at your wrist. Another way is to look at jewelry. Now, for me, I said this in my previous video that gold jewelry really looks better on me than silver. I like gold jewelry because it flatters my skin. It looks better on my skin. So that's how you know that I'm of a warm undertone, because people with warm undertones look better with gold jewelry than silver. If you like silver jewelry better, you feel like it looks better on your skin, you get more compliments when you wear silver jewelry, then you're of a cool undertone. Neutral undertones look good in both. So I feel like with neutral undertones, it's harder to determine because you might be like, well, I don't know if I like gold or I like silver, or I don't know if my veins are blue or green. And then you might be like, okay, I'm a neutral undertone, but you might be of a cool or warm undertone. So that is also another way to determine your undertone. For people with cool undertone, their skin appears like pinkish / bluish. So sometimes you might see the description for the undertones described as pink. I know sometimes some brands don't use like for cool undertones. Some of them use like for peachy undertones or for pink undertones. Now for neutral undertones, you might see the description that says for red undertones. That falls in the category for neutral undertones. So if you're neutral undertone and a brand is saying that it's for red undertones, then that's what that means. And then for warm undertones, you have, I've seen so many different ones for warm undertones. I've seen for golden undertones, for yellow undertones. I've seen for golden olive undertones. All those fall in the categories for warm undertones because people who have warm undertones, their skin appears more yellow, more olive. Those are all the three categories. And these are also different ways that, you know, makeup brands and foundations can have descriptions. And sometimes I used to be confused. I'm like, which one's peachy? Okay, well, which one's olive and which one's yellow? So that's just a way that I like to break it down to understand like those different categories and different ways that you can hear like the undertones being described as. So over here in front of me, I have different foundations with different undertones. So I'm going to show you guys what they look like on my skin. So the first foundation we're going to be talking about is the NARS Soft Matte Foundation. This is one of my current favorite foundations right now. So I'm going to be showing you guys the different undertones with this foundation. The good thing about this foundation is that it comes in 34 shades. It's not a lot. It's like, you know, we need maybe like 40 or 50, you know? And sometimes when you have like a lot of different shades, it makes it even harder for you to find your foundation shades. So this one comes in 35 shades, which is good. So it comes in many different categories. It comes in fair skin, and then you have light skin, medium skin, and then you have medium dark skin, then you have dark to dark skin, and then you have dark skin. So I would be in the category between dark skin and medium to dark skin. So that's how I start by determining my skin tone. So I'll be like, okay, maybe I might be dark, or maybe I might be medium to dark, you know, because I definitely know I'm not for very deep skin, because that's like one of the last categories. The shades I have here for the NARS foundations are Macau, and then I have Marquises, then I have Manaus, and then I have New Caledonia. So the first shade, Macau, is described as for dark skin with olive undertones. Immediately, I know that undertone can work for me. So I can be like, okay, that could possibly work for me. Let me move on down and see what they got to offer down over there. So then I go to the second one, which is Marquises, which is described as for medium dark to dark skin with golden undertones. And I'm gonna be like, okay, that can possibly work for me because I am of a warm undertone, and golden also works for my undertone. So those two shades can work for my undertone. And then I have the next shade, which is Manaus, which is described as for dark skin with red undertones. Immediately, I can rule that out and be like, no, that's not gonna work for my undertone because it's for red undertones, and I am not of a red undertone. So I will definitely rule that out, and I would not get that shade. Then I want to move on down to the last shade, and this one is New Caledonia, which is D2, and it's described as for dark skin with yellow undertones. So I've definitely knocked out Manaus, okay, because I'm like, no, I'm not of a neutral undertone. So I have 3 left, which is Macau, Marquises, and New Caledonia, okay? The first one I'm gonna knock down is Macau because it's too light for me. It says it's for medium dark to dark skin. Like I told you guys earlier, I'm usually the second to the last category when it comes to foundations. So this one is the third to last category. So I can definitely knock this one out. And then Marquises is also the third to the last category, which is MD, which is for medium dark to dark skin. So I can automatically rule that out. I'm like, I'm not usually on the third category. I'm usually on that second to the last category, almost always. And so I would most likely go for New Caledonia. That is the second to the last category, which is for dark skin. The last category on these foundations is very deep skin. So I know I'm definitely not very deep skin, so I'm most likely dark skin, which is the second to the last category. So that is how I like to determine like the shade ranges and like knock down which ones I, think I am and which ones I don't think I am. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these foundations out so you guys can see what they look like on like the different undertones and what they look like on my skin. So this is Macau and this is what it swatches out as. Like I mentioned before, it is way too light. It is on the third to the last category, which would make this way too light for my skin. So this one is for medium dark to dark skin with olive undertones. I wouldn't really say this is dark skin. This is more so of like medium skin or tan skin. I feel like sometimes brands don't really get like the skin tones right. I feel like sometimes they say like for deep skin and then it's like something that's like super light and I'm like, that's not deep skin. That's not even dark skin, I feel like this one would be like for tan skin or for medium skin tones. This one's definitely not for deep skin tones. And this one says it's for medium dark to dark skin. This is not anywhere close to dark skin. The next one is Marquise's, which is for golden undertones. Honestly, I feel like they're very similar in undertone. This one just looks a little bit more olive and this one looks like it's a little bit more golden than olive, but they're very similar in undertones. If you are of a warm undertone, either one of these could work for your undertone. I feel like it's just determining on which skin tone is more perfect. If you're leaning more towards like the neutral side, your skin has a little bit of a red tint, but for the majority of it, it's more golden than olive. This one would be perfect for you. You would be more of a warm undertone. The next shade is Manaus. So this is what Manaus looks like. This is for neutral undertones. It has like a little bit of a red tint in it. It looks like it's more red than really warm. You don't see the warm undertone in it. You don't see any golden, any green in there. It's just purely red. So I would definitely say this one is a neutral undertone. This one would not work with my undertone because as you guys can see, like my skin on my face and on my neck, you can see my undertone looks better with any of these two rather than this one right here. Last but not least, we have New Caledonia, which is described as for yellow undertones. All right, so this is what the shade New Caledonia looks like. As you guys can see, there's a big difference between these two right here. These three look very similar. It's just the skin tone that's very different, but this one looks like the odd one out. This one you can see it's definitely red compared to this one. This one looks very golden. It looks more deeper. For cool undertones, you find the foundation looks very peachy. So that's what a cool undertone would look like. So I'm gonna apply this whole foundation on my face so you guys can see how it matches my skin. All right, so that is it for this video. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, don't forget to leave your girl a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section how you guys like to match your foundations online. For those of you guys who have been matching it and shopping online, because I like to shop online. I don't like going in stores to always have to get something. The only time I go in stores is if I really need it. If a new foundation is coming up, I usually tend to shop online, and that is exactly how I like to match it. It's just literally two things. Literally just knowing your skin tone and knowing your undertone, and trying it a few times will really get you to know like your undertone. Maybe you might try like a cool undertone and you might be like, no, this doesn't look good on my skin. Then you might try neutral and be like, no. Then you might try warm and be like, okay, this one works better. So it's just a bunch of like trial and error. Also going in stores and really trying to figure out your undertone by swatching out different foundations on your skin. I don't like swatching out my foundations at Sephora because they have like so many lights, and sometimes when you swatch it out in Sephora, you find that a foundation matches in Sephora, but when you come back home and you wear it out, you're like, no, this doesn't look good on my skin. That has happened to me many times, especially with this Too Faced foundation. I've tried, I think, like 5 different shades of this Too Faced foundation, and I have never gotten the right shade. I like to try it out in natural lighting rather than artificial lighting, so that's why I wouldn't recommend really trying the foundation out in Sephora. I would just say like buy the foundation, try it at home, and then go outside and then see whether it works. If not, then you can determine like whether that's your undertone or whether it's not, whether it's your skin tone or whether it's not. So that is it for this video. I hope this video was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe and join the LJ family. Also hit the bell so you're always notified of a new upload. But other than that, I will see you guys in my next video.
KLJ, welcome to a channel where it's poppin'. You better subscribe, got it on lock, yeah. Got it on lock, yeah. We need more likes, more views, yeah. You can leave a comment too. Welcome to our YouTube. Welcome to our YouTube.